Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll discuss about one of the most basic concepts of chess, the center, and why it is important. Let's try to understand its relationship with the pieces by placing pieces on open board. So here we have a queen on e5, which is in the center, and a queen on h1. And already you can see a significant difference here. The queen on e5 controls 27 squares, whereas the queen on h1 controls 21 squares. So the square in which the piece is placed determines its activity actually. So the rook is an exception to this, as wherever you place the rook, it controls 14 squares. But as you go to a weaker piece like the bishop, you can see that the difference becomes bigger. So the bishop on e5 here controls 13 squares, whereas the bishop on h1 controls only 7 squares. So there is already a significant difference between these two pieces. And as we go further down, the knight, the difference again becomes big. The knight on e5 controls 8 squares in comparison with the knight on h1, which controls only 2 squares. We can understand another property of the central squares with the example with the use of the knight, and it is that a piece placed in the center is ready to move to all parts of the board in comparison to a piece placed in the corner. So in chess there are a lot of movements when you don't know where the action is going to take place. So in preparation for that, the best place for the piece to stay is in the center. So the knight on h1 can control everything can be fast on the king side, but it will never win the race to b8 or g8 or a4. Yeah, so it loses on the other three parts of the board definitely. Maybe on the king side also on some part. But for example, if the goal is to get to b8 now, so white can do it in 2 moves. Whereas it would take forever. 3, 4. So black knight takes 5 moves to get there. So this is another significant quality of these squares. It is that these 4 squares act as a link or bridge between the king side and the queen side, between the rest of the board basically, as it is the center. If we take the weakest piece, also we see a difference. First difference is that the activity of the piece, the white king controls far more squares than the black king, and of course the speed at which it can reach all parts of the board in comparison to a piece which is in the corner. It's much faster in controlling, in reaching the other parts of the board than the black king. Let's try to see a practical example in a study. So this is a study by Reti from the year 1921. So here it is black to move, and he has a few problems to solve. First of all, the black pawn is queening and his pawn is hanging. So the only way white can save his game is by either saving his pawn and queening his own pawn or stopping the black pawn. Let's see if we can make this strategy work. So king h7, h4, king h6, h3. It is easy to see that the white king is unable to stop the pawn and black wins. So if we go back and try to save the pawn, king g8, king b6, king f7, king c6, and again black wins the pawn, and at the same time he saves his own pawn and wins the game. So what white needs is a combination of this strategy. He needs to stay on the king side and on the queen side, and the best way to do that is to head to the center. So king g7 is the correct move, king b6, king f6, and now h4, because king into c6, king into c6, king g5 wins the pawn, and after h4, king e5. The moves in itself, it doesn't make sense, but now the king can go to both sides. In this position only this is relevant. So we can say that I'm keeping an eye on both only in time when I head to e5. So the position is actually a draw now, because if he takes here, I come and catch the pawn, and if he pushes the pawn, king d6, e7, h1, and yeah, I'm able to queen in time. So as I already said, you don't know where the action is going to take place always. So a general rule in chess is to head to the center where you don't know what to do, where you don't know exactly which side the action is going to take place. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.